Welcome back to the Romanian Reaver channel and my playthrough of Pillars of Eternity. Now with Noise Gate back in effect. Let's see what happens in here. Cause I think Webb's dead. Taos will be royally pissed off at her. Who did I talk to? We received word from Commander Clever that you would be attending the Romanian Reaver. The balcony has been opened for you. Okay. Duke Avar Wolfgren. The room below is animated amidst a heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible knights stiff in their noisy armor sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House de Manel. Thought I slaughtered every last one of them. Casual, watching with a predator's interest. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Intersped are animancers in their academic robes, with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
In the back of the chamber sits the Duke, sprawled in his throne, worn down but alert and feisty nonetheless.
Ramir de Barask is originally from Palminia. He's one of the finest minds in animancy to come out of the Valian Republics. He left for Defiance Bay 5 years ago, because he believed this was the true heart of animancy research.
In Pelagina's words and the way she looks at her countrymen, you sense both pride and a mild sense of frustration.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud, and while the experiment failed, his work...
His work was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from the Knights of the Crucible. What makes you say sabotage?
All at once, the attendees turned their faces towards you, a mishmash of judgment and incredulity. Only the Duke, a wild-looking man with a scraggly beard, seems unfazed by our interruption. I met a false patient in Brackenberry Sanitarium, who had tampered with Oslo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children!
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
This is not the Bell Reach incident. This is a responsible scientist who was manipulated. Those who know me around here know me to be fair judgment. Cadman Azo should be held innocent. Those who know me around here know my fellow should be held guilty. No, it isn't. This was a responsible scientist who was manipulated. Yes, he is. Okay. Lord 5.
Bullshit! These animancers can't be trusted! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill! Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justisher! You turn a blind eye and look what happens!
I've been to Heritage Hill since the quarantine. Though the Knights were unable to control damage, it was not animancy, but an ancient machine that caused it.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
You think some rotting corpse or volunteer guard could stand in my way? I earned my answers. Honest, my word is my oath. I challenge anyone here to find someone who knows it different. Aggressive, ask around. When I see problems, I take matters into my own hands. That's more me.
I'll grant that you look the part. Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
Tier known F houses an Griffin machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was a machine that made the district undead. Do you think that was the machine's purpose, or just their side effect? Kinda shudders. But then, why would Griffins build such a machine at all?
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
There is no denying they were studying dangerous machinery they did not understand. I have no reason to believe there were others at the tower who might have done this. Yeah, I have reason to believe that.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point! Everywhere there's animancers, there's disaster! We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge!
Okay, that was a good one.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it!
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son. My wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs he couldn't cough up. My daughter? We put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking doubtful character. Wyvern's legacy is the creation of the living key. Cadman Azul's downfall was their work, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want animancy to fall. Dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Iran Glafav, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls, near towns like Gillavale and Derford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I have heard their dead confess their plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
Please, I want only to help you. You want to see crazy? Make one more smart comment. Just like that. Birth invalids until your womb dries, or for all I care. The rest of these people will hear the truth. You shame your order by dismissing the truth before hearing it, madame. I expected better from a night of the Crucible. If you did, for your husband's sake, I hope he at least left the brothel unlocked. If, as the Duke says, no theory has more proof than any other, what is the harm in hearing one more? Rational. Your quips cannot change the truth. I'm more a clever thought, but that more better.
You must know, friend, that the leaden key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
Okay. What's more likely, that the gods are destroying Deerwood for science practiced in many parts of the world, or that a group of people hates animancy and wants it suppressed? The Leaden Key is very real. They are foreigners from Aether and Ceres who hate Deerwood and want to see us suffer. That's gonna cause a war. Let's say a lord is cuckolded by his wife. If he tells her to stop, she'll only want her lover more. But if he spreads a rumor that her lover just visited the brothel and acquired a pox on his loins, she'll end it on her own. We all want the same thing. We want Wadewood's legacy to end. If we work together instead of arguing, we can stop the people who are doing this. Honest 3. If you want to know anything about me, you know this. I've been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter. This one's a bit better.
Another guess! Throw him out on his ass, your grace! He's wasting our time!
This is not a guess. I have seen these people carrying out the missions in the ruins of Erenglanfaf.
The Justicia's right. This is sanitarium talk.
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
The Crucible Knights were instrumental in aiding my investigation.
I see. I'm impressed the Knights seized such an unlikely opportunity to find an end to all of this. But these hearings are about more than Widewind's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
When the law animators continue their work, they explore questions we all wish to understand. If we know more, perhaps this crisis could have been averted. Animancy should be studied in Deerwood. If you don't, someone else will, and they will wield great power over you. The animators of Deerwood have been given too long a leash. In truth, I'm not completely confident animancy doesn't have something to do with the Wyvern's legacy. It will be wise to ban the practice, at least for now. Animancy is dangerous, we were not meant to use it, and we have proven why we are unworthy of it. It should be outlawed. This one's a bit too hard. Yeah. Her face still, Paragina looks your way and suddenly nods in approval.
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me collect my thoughts. And our new delegate, who, if nothing else, has made this final day a little more interesting. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir de Barash, representing the interests of animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
The arguments for and against animancy are both strong in their own way. I must be careful in my judgment.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
No, wait!
Well,
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
The words, "Shall I end it for you?" rang in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading into silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Taos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around the wide circular pit carved of stone. He addresses a woman bound backward over a large wheel, a wheel overlooking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like melted candle wax, black and red and seeping, and the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. was granted dominion of the sleepers. You open your eyes to the beam ceiling of the palace's grand entry hall. The clangs of metal waft in from outside alongside the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Talos is gone. Eder leans in, his head upside down in your sight as he peers down at you from above. Hey, you're alive! He looks you over, frowning. Can you move? We shouldn't stick around. When their wounds get stirred up, they like to start burning things. Off to one side you hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and you look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it's too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's the only... She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please, find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor, still. Fucking hell. Don't go out there. There's rioting in the streets. I would have expected him to go for Lady Webb, to be honest. Would have been a much more decapitating strike than that. Like I have any choice. I gotta bust through and make it to the Brackenberry or Bracken whatever area and try and get into Lady Webb's house. Stand down, we don't want to fight you. This spread way too fast. It's been prepared. A distant relative of Reaver has arrived at the stronghold requesting that they be free in exchange for coin. No. Let me see if I can intervene. I gotta help my brothers.
You better run! You're mine.
Be martyred in your own stupidity.
Ready when you are.
Gotta keep the compound secure. Holy hell. Can't even imagine what's in Lady Webb's area. Because first fires at least is policed. Oh shite. I told you. This was pretty much a given. How in the hell did he manage to kill them like this, though? It's a slaughter in here. Okay. I wonder if Lady Webb is still alive. She should be powerful enough to resist. Fucking hell, one sec. Sorry about that, the subscriber triggered. The not subscriber, the Twitch follower alarm triggered. Killed everyone. And I don't think Lady Webb's still alive. Oh, she is not.
I'll give it a try, at least, as requested.
Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The blood pool beneath a gash in her chest is stacking, nearly dry. Shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling hand. You can feel the faint aura of her fading essence in your ken. Reach out for it. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it calms, you find yourself in the same room, lying in bed with a glass of brandy in your hand. Throughout the walls from the streets outside come the sounds of screams and shattering glass and the cacophony of an angry mob. Take a sip and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. In the room walks Taos, the floorboards creaking beneath deliberate steps. Wait until the last, the brandy has trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You're concentrating, focusing with all your energy. It feels as though you are diving into a stone wall over and over, but it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing you the vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
He walks over to a small table and raises a half-empty bottle of... raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity.
He replaces the brandy bottle on the table.
You know this is how it has to be.
He replaces the brandy bottle on the table with care before approaching the bedside. He sits on the edge of the bed next to you. You know this is how it has to be. His words come freely, absent of all thought. He draws a long curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins your sternum as he raises the knife in the other, its point dangling above your heart.
Prove it.
Taos slips the knife between your ribs and pushes it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness, and blood wells up around the blade. The pulse of reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife hand in both of yours, question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open to you, unguarded, and the answer comes, simple, cataclysmic, reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have an answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look at Taos with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time and draw your last breath as a black velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenbury Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the leaden key itself.
Oh, shite. Really? Oh, shite. The floods have receded. The pass through Stone Gorge is open. Travel to Twin Elms. I'll miss the old crone. I knew she would die, but still. That's active for some reason. Huh. I certainly did not activate that.
I think I see something.
Nice. I'll have to come back and check that place out. But first, let's actually get to Twin Elms. Or at least break into a new area. He arrives at last. Leaden Key Wizard. Well, well, well. A woman in robes flanked by an armed group savors every word before whispering the next. Finally. You should have remained in Defiance Bay. She draws a smile, pale and full. The droops below her recessed chin. But I'm glad you didn't have a better sense. I've looked forward to this since you got in our way. It's her, the other one. A woman in the group motions with her arquebus towards Palagina. Weren't we looking for her too? Yes. She squints and looks Palagina up and down. A dark-skinned woman with feathers. There can't be too many of your kind around these parts. Or can there? She smiles with strange geniality. Palagina's feathers ruffle and the golden irises of her eyes grow thin, swallowed by the blackness of her widening pupils. And why would you be looking for me, amica? The same reason I'm looking for him. Her eyes twinkle above her placid smile. You should know, little bird. No one wants to hear songs about conspiracies. Her voice deepens and takes an edge of menace. It just makes us want to wring your neck. Any last words? Let's get this over. Haven't you heard what I do to my enemies? Surrender unless you want a taste of my anger. Oh yeah. Good, some more foul action. I could use a bit of vengeful violence. Walk away before you get hurt. You will never end quietly as long as I draw breath. Assassin. Aggressive. The complacent smile on the woman's lips vanishes. You. She gives a sideways glance to her instrument. Yes, I have heard. A couple man, muscled beneath rolls of fat, snaps his head in the woman's direction. I've heard it too. Kills without thinking twice, this one. The jowls under his chin quiver as he spits the words out. By the flame, now then, let it go. Shut up, the command whistles through her clenched teeth. The cowled man, cleaning his fingertips with the point of a long stiletto, doesn't let the silence last. I told you he had too much of a mouth, boss. Too much of a big mouth. He spreads his fingers apart and gives them a good look, but if the oaths got it right, I'm not here to die for nothing. The woman's shoulders drop. Once, take you. At what point did I promise an easy job? She stared at the ground, her lips hanging down like ripe fruit. How do I know you'll spare us if you give up? Benevolent. It's not the first time I show mercy. I've always stood by my word. I gave you a chance. Make your choice. So you don't. Patience ran out. Time to kill. For me to kill and for you to die. Honest. I've always stood by my word. That was the rumor too. Before you hired us, in the gift. The father hammers his fat finger against his temple. I remember. I do. The woman bites her lower lip, flushing it red. Shakes her head. Would the God have mercy? She locks eyes on you. Take me away. Anywhere. Anywhere is better than here. Just to check, did I actually capture her? Not giving that guy off. Yeah, I captured her. Okay, but I'm going to leave it off here now, ladies and gentlemen, because yeah, we're a wee bit over 30 minutes. Thank you for watching, or more precisely surviving up until this point, because gods know the editing's kinda interesting and my voice has a melodic tone to it. If you like what you saw, feel free to hit the subscribe button, like button. It does help out the statistics of the channel, gets more visible, you know, stuff like that. And to be honest, at one point I would like to actually make this a job so I can do better content with better quality, more games, more coverage, you know, stuff like that. Take care.